loud. I have to take this somewhere else. Might be a bit too loud. Should I come here? I don't know. Yeah. I think it's okay. Alright. So, the cycle of poverty. What is the cycle of poverty? Well, the cycle of poverty is pretty much when your parents are poor, you end up being born into a poor, low status, low income family, and you therefore end up remaining poor, and then you have kids and they remain poor. So it's like a cycle. And that's why I say you must break that cycle. You see, when you're poor, okay? When you're poor, there's a reason why you're poor. You're not just poor for nothing. You're poor because you're not bringing any value to the market. Never mind what the socialists say. That you're being discriminated against. You know, it's not somebody's fault that you were born poor and they were born into a wealthier family. It's not their fault. And the reality of it is that most people that are poor, I mean, if you've been to a poor community, most people that are poor are also lazy and very negative. They go hand in hand. I mean, I consider myself poor. I'm not the poorest, but I'm definitely, you know, I'm not able to live the life that I want, and that is poor to me. But, you know, I have people sometimes come up to me, random people, and they ask me for money. You know, random. You know how low down, you know how pathetic you have to be. You're living in a first world country, and you're asking random people for money. You know how pathetic you have to be to do that, and this is the mentality of these guys. They have a really, really terrible mentality. They don't want to put the effort in. They believe that it's somebody else's responsibility that they are poor. No. You know, you're lucky I don't give you a slap. I mean, that's insulting. I mean, that's insulting for a random person to accept something or expect, something from somebody that they don't even know. That's insulting. And the thing is, it's not like they haven't had the opportunity. They've had the opportunity, they wasted it, and now they're looking for people to get them out of that. No, that's not how it works. Nobody owes you that. If you want to change your life, if you want your life to change, you have to change your life. That's the truth. Because let me tell you something. Nobody's going to change it for you. And nobody should change it for you. Why should they? Why should they change it? You know, why should they? They say, oh, you're selfish. No, it's not about being selfish. You don't even deserve the help. A lot of you guys. You know, the reality of the situation is a lot of people have expectations of others. You know, instead of just having expectations for yourself. This is part of the problem. Don't expect people who are better off to give you something, especially people who generated that wealth themselves. You know, because when I generate my wealth, I'm not giving a penny of it to people who had the opportunities and wasted it. And that's pretty much everybody. That's pretty much everybody who was given the same opportunities, in a sense that you're born and raised in a first world country. If you're born and raised in a first world country, you have no excuse, none, to be poor. None. There's no excuse, man. You know, because I realized that I'm not living the life that I want to live. And I realized that I'm not going to live the life that I want to live until I make the necessary changes to my own life. Most people that are poor, they're lazy, they have bad habits, and their mindset is all messed up. Those are the traits that you find when you go to the poor communities. They have this victim mentality. Which I've spoken about at length. But that's the thing. A lot of you guys have to let that realization set in that you are not going to live a better life unless you make drastic changes to your lifestyle. Drastic changes need to be made. They need to be. Because if you guys keep living how you're living, you know, smoking weed, playing excessive amounts of video games, watching porn and fapping to it, keep doing that. Keep doing that and you'll stay exactly in the position that you're in until you die. Once you cut out those bad habits, you realize how much more time you actually have. That's the thing. You realize that actually you've got so much more time now to do the things that are necessary to improve your life. Not only do you have more time, but your mindset is also improved. That's the thing here. You had one idiot say on YouTube, it doesn't matter how much money you make. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. If it doesn't matter how much money you make, then why do you work? Why do people work at all? You know, these guys just tell themselves stuff to make themselves feel better. Because they know that it's their own fault. Deep down, most of these guys, they know that it's their own fault. But they don't want to make the necessary changes because they're too lazy, they're too negative. And that's the thing here. But guess what? If you think it's not worth it, if you think it's not worth it, okay? And let me tell you something. You're pretty much just waiting for an early grave. You're already dead. You know? That's the truth. Because you're never going to make any progress. You guys are like a walking corpse, man. You think I want to die poor? You think I want to live like this for another 50, 60, maybe even 70 years? No. No. That will never happen. I won't allow that to happen. I will not allow that to happen. And this is the kind of mentality that you guys need to have, man. These socialists, I'm not going to help you. They're there to keep you poor. Oh, we're going to give you, an extra we're going to give you $2 extra. Here you go. A week, an hour. You're still poor. Universal basic income. We're going to give you 1,000 extra per month. You're still poor. What does that do? And not to mention that universal basic, I'm not going to get into universal basic income, but it doesn't work. It's not going to work. And it's not Elon Musk's fault that you're poor. It's not Bill Gates' fault that you're poor. The system that we're living under is not perfect, but I don't need to compete with Microsoft. I don't need to compete with Apple. I don't need to compete with Amazon to build a wealthy, successful life for myself. I can make few millions, I can make tens of millions without having to compete with those giants. I'm not saying that everybody can be a billionaire, but come on, make some decent money. I mean, if you ain't got nothing else going for you in your life, you might as well try. Some of you guys, some of you guys are in your 40s even. You've never even tried to make some decent money. You want to follow your parents. A lot of people make that mistake of following their parents. How the hell are your parents going to help you when they've been poor their entire life? How? They can't help you. A lot of you guys listen to like losers. You spend your time listening to losers on YouTube. Like these YouTubers who whine about being poor, unemployed, being a loser. You actually sympathize. You relate to these people. I mean, I watch it too sometimes. But I just look at how pathetic these guys are. I'm not watching it because I relate to it. I don't relate to that. Some of you guys who go out there, you get a degree. Okay? You go out there and get a degree and you say, well, I've done my bit. I'm still poor. I'm still unemployed. I give up. Well, the problem with that is that the degree nowadays really doesn't yield that much value. The degree nowadays is pretty much worthless, and it doesn't work for most people. Employees don't really care about it for the most jobs. Not saying all, but most. And you have to sometimes do something yourself, man. You cannot rely on the system, because the education system, a lot of parents are victim to this, and this is not just about money. I mean, most of our parents, they don't really, they try to rely on the education system like it's going to save us. No, it doesn't. The education system is not going to save you, especially if you don't go to a private school. The public school system is not going to help you. Absolutely not. The public school system is really there to just, make you a worker, to make the people at the top even richer. And we all do. I mean, you cannot stop making the people at the top richer. I mean, you cannot stop that. You cannot stop that, to be honest with you, because anything you do, you're making them richer. But at the end of the day, that's not my life objective, because if I'm making people at the top richer, I want to take a piece of the pie. I know I can't compete with Apple. I'm not stupid. I know I can't compete with Apple. I know I can't compete with Microsoft. But I can take a piece of the pie. You know, I'm not going to do it to be still poor. You know, I'm going to do it and be rich. You know, a few million a year is good for me. A few million a year. You know, I don't need to be driving around in Bugatti Veyrons and all these expensive, 2 million, 3 million cars. I don't care about that. You know, but I need to make a few million a year. I'm good with a few million a year. Now, if I make a few million a year, I'm going to go for the tens of millions and the hundreds of millions. You know, but I'll be satisfied with that. If that's my cap, a few million a year, I'll take it. You know, but the education system really doesn't have any value. You know, it doesn't. Parents do not teach their kids necessary skills to be successful. Luckily today, we have people on YouTube who we can learn from. And this is even, it's even worse that in today's society, you guys are still failing. You know. Now people are using YouTube to try to get famous off of being a failure. Prime example. Hiding in my room. Best example of that. He's trying to broadcast his failure and trying to get famous off it. I mean, how pathetic is that? I mean, we really are in a snowflake generation. What the hell are you broadcasting? You should be ashamed of yourself. You know, this is what they have no dignity. I mean, because it seems like today being a failure is you almost get praised for being a failure. It's like, what the hell's going on here? But the reality is that it's gonna crash and burn, man. These guys are gonna crash and burn. They're going to end up going back to live with their parents in their 40s. Or they're going to end up living on the streets like a destitute. That's the truth. That's the actual truth. So yeah, I mean, if you guys really want to improve your life, don't just replicate, don't do the barest minimum. And don't replicate your parents, and don't replicate, what your friends are doing. It's another thing, friends. You live in a poor community. Most people, who are poor are going to be together, in the same similar communities. I would say you're better off having no friends. Poor friends, unless they got business ideas, unless they're trying to get out of being poor, just don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time with poor people, because they want to be poor. They want to splash their money. You're poor, but you're trying to dress like a rich man, wasting your money on expensive clothing. Well, you're going to be poor forever, and you're a clown. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be poor forever. You've got to find people who have the same objectives as you. That goes for friendships and relationships. You have to do that. You have to. You cannot be hanging around with people that have a different wavelength to you. And your parents are included. Your parents are included because your parents are finished. Your parents, now their only hope is that you become rich. But you're not going to become rich being under them. You're not, because what can they teach you? What can they help you with? What the hell are they going to help you with? They've been poor for their whole life. 50, 60, 70 years of poverty. What are they going to do for you? We know that 80% of people born into poverty are going to die in it. We know that. I'm not going to be one of those. I'm breaking the cycle. I'm breaking the chains, man. I'm chained up right now. And I'm fighting to get free, to get free, to get free. Some of you guys just lay down and say, no, we're going to stay in the chains forever. Okay, suffer. Suffer. Because what these guys are not willing to do is suffer for a few years to not suffer anymore. Instead, they choose to suffer for the rest of their life. And that's why I don't respect these people. I have zero respect for these individuals who comment on these videos and try to whine and complain and act like they're a victim. I have zero respect because you have the tools. Nothing is stopping you from getting rid of the bad habits, having a goal, putting the work in and starting to see the improvements. Nothing is stopping you from doing that. We're not living in a society that stops you from doing that. But it's the programming, the conditioning that has gone into your brain that's telling you, oh no, you can't do it. Oh no, it's too hard. What's too hard? You know what's harder? To end up a miserable, bitter old man and having to die in that position. That's what's harder. Some of you guys in your 20s, you're already adopting this, and you got this from old people. I believe that you got this from older guys. I believe that you got this from people who were, guys in their 20s. Sorry, not guys in their 20s. Guys in their 40s, 50s, 60s. And they were telling you this nonsense. There's a number of them here on YouTube. Some old men trying to tell you that, your life is going to end up like them. Why is that? Because they know they're finished. That's the thing. They know that it's over for them. They know that they ain't gonna make no improvements in their life. They know that it's over, and that's the thing. So what the hell are they gonna tell you? Disregard them. What they gonna tell you? What they gonna teach you? Absolutely nothing, because they don't have anything to show for their time on this planet. They have not made any wealth. And I'm not saying it's all about money, but at the end of the day, if you want to help people, which a lot of you guys don't anyway, but if you do, you can't help people when you're poor, when you're broke. You can't even help yourself. So, money is a tool that can be used to help others, as well as yourself. So don't try to fight against it because you can't win. I'm not in the game of fighting battles that I cannot win. If you want to be in that game, go ahead. Go keep fighting until you die. That's not for me, man. That's not what I'm interested in. I understand where my limitations are. I understand I'm never going to be the next big shot. I'm not going to be the next Steve Jobs. I'm not going to be the next, Warren Buffett or whatever. I'm not going to be. I'm fine with that. Whatever you are, even if you're old, you can still do better than what you're doing now. You can still do better, but if you have that mindset of, I'm a victim, nothing's going to change. I know, that my life situation comes down to years and years and years of not doing the necessary things in order to get to where I want to be. And it's the same for you guys. You guys are no different. So stop making excuses and let's break that cycle. Let's break that cycle. Let's break that cycle, because at the end of the day, it's only to your benefit. There's nothing beneficial about doing some, doing the minimum and saying, oh, I got a degree, that's fine, I give up now. No, that's not going to benefit you. It's only to your benefit. That's what I'm trying to tell people, that, at the end of the day, if you think like that, then you're dead. You're dead. So some of these guys really make me sick. They make me sick with this giving up, this despair. What do you despair about? What's there to despair about? People are making big bucks every day. Then they come up with these theories as to why they cannot do it. It's just nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Justifying your failure is one of the most disgusting and sickening things that a man can do. You don't justify why you're a failure. You don't justify that. What's wrong with you? Never should you sit there and try to justify and say, oh, I'm a failure because this person made me. Nobody made you a failure, bro. You were born into a low-income, low-status family. Guess what? So were a lot of other people, and they're still doing better than you. They're still doing better than you. Why? Because they're putting the effort in, because they have the right mindset, because they've discarded the bad habits, and this is the reason why. But at the end of the day, a lot of you guys are never going to wake up. You're never going to wake up to the reality. You're constantly trying to prove to yourself, and deep down you know. That's why you're so miserable. That's why you're so bitter. Because deep down you know that you've wasted your entire life doing absolutely nothing. And you're going to waste the rest of it because you're too stubborn to change. You don't want to change. You just simply don't want to change. If you don't want to change, then you know what? Don't change. But you should not complain. What are you complaining about? You're a laughing stock. A lot of these guys on YouTube, I'm laughing at these guys' videos. Some of you guys think these videos are sad and depressing. I'm laughing at these guys. This is like, entertainment. It's comedy. It's comedy listening to these guys. I mean, and they're pathetic, miserable existence on this planet. People are laughing at you, and people are enjoying your misery. They're enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. People who watch my channel are enjoying these guys' misery. And I don't blame them. I'm doing it too. I mean, who can blame them? Your misery is caused upon by yourself. Oh, you're blaming me, man. I'm a victim. No, you're not a victim. This is fantasy land. What do you mean victim? How are you a victim? How are you a victim when you had everything at your disposal? That guy across the street that made it out of poverty, is he a victim? According to your ideology, he must be a victim. Because he came in the same situation that you are. No, it's nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with that. A lot of you guys, you're going to have kids. And you're going to pass that poverty onto your children. That's what you're going to do. You're going to pass that generational wealth and generational poverty. That's why they call it the cycle of poverty. You're going to pass it on to the next generation. Here you go. All my problems, all my poverty, all my failures. Here you go. A lot of people have it worse than me. Some of you guys are so pathetic. Let me bring up this guy's name again, hiding in my room. The guy did worse than his parents. Worse. He did worse than his pathetic father and his pathetic mother. Worse. That's how, slow down some of you guys are. You can't even meet the benchmark when it was harder. It was harder. Because back then they couldn't go on the internet and have access to all this information. They didn't have that. You got that today and you're still complaining. You're still complaining. You got access to all this information. You can start an online business. You can do all these things. And what do you decide to do? You decide to use the internet to play online video games, watch animes, and go to these stupid videos and write stupid comments and faff off to porn. That's how you're going to use your resource. The number one resource that can help you I don't know if it's the number one, but one of the top resources that can help you, the internet technology, and you're using it to do that. And you wonder why I'm laughing at you. You wonder why you're a laughing stock. You wonder why nobody respects you. Nobody should respect you. You're a joke. You're a complete and utter joke, and you don't deserve to live on this planet. But society is so kind, they give you that opportunity, and you just do nothing with it. So at the end of the day, these guys are going to be in for a rude awakening. They're going to be in for a rude awakening because a lot of these guys are still young. When you're young, sometimes you don't realize what's in store for you. Because in your mind, you say, well, I'm young, I don't have time. I got time, sorry. Which is true. It is true that when you're young, you do have time. You do have time, but the thing is that you're not going to be young forever. And when you get old, it's harder. The older you get, it does get harder, and this is the thing with some people. Some people don't realize that, these guys are in their mid-30s and 40s. And they don't realize that they're in their prime as a man. And they think that, well, it's hard for me and I'm in my mid-30s. Why is it hard for me? I should be in my prime. You want to know why? Because you're a loser. That's why. If you were not a loser, you'd be living it up. You'd be living life. You'd be enjoying life. But because you're a loser, because you ain't got nothing going for you, because you've wasted so much time, that's why you're suffering. That's why you're suffering. Do you think I want to end up like that? Do you think I want to end up like some of these other guys? No. I don't want to end up like that. And that's why I'm willing to suffer right now. I'm willing to make the sacrifice. A lot of you guys are not willing to make the sacrifice. And, this is what the result is. Make the sacrifice when you're young. Say, oh no, I want to be young, man. I want to enjoy my life. Okay, try that. Try that. See if that works for you. See if that works for you, because at the end of the day, you're wasting your valuable time. Let those other people do it. I don't follow those people, because those people are going to be poor forever. They're going to be poor forever, and they're going to be sitting in an office at 50 years old, if they even are in an office. But they're going to be miserable in their job at 50 years old, and they're going to say, what have I done with my life? What have I done with my life? That's what's going to be going through their head. Other people, they don't have to think that. Why? Because they did the right thing. They did the right thing. Alright? So now it's down to you guys. It's either you do the right thing now, or it's too late and you suffer forever. This is the Unreal One here, the truth of the manosphere. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you are informed every time I upload a new video.